Cheap substitute milk exported products from Europe into West Africa is actually harming the region's local dairy industry and, in fact, putting the local farmers out of business. Hello, I am Mahlet, Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent. Now, this research was conducted by an Irish NGO and a local newspaper or news outlet called Prime or Premium Outlet of Nigeria, and that's where the research is conducted, in which the Irish so-called substitute milk product is exported to this local market, to Nigeria, and actually as a whole West Africa. But since the research is conducted in Nigeria, so we are going to talk about the details and all the findings of the research in Nigeria. Now, I'm going to share this news with you. It's a journal actually published in Ireland. It's called the journal .ie. So as it reads on its headline, this is what it says: Irish products among cheap EU dairy, forcing some West African farmers out of business. Now, just quickly to unfold something, the European Union is currently negotiating with 79 countries, including, these are called African Caribbean, 79. That's like the whole of Africa and the whole of Caribbean islands or Caribbean. Yeah, so negotiating to sign economic partnership agreement. It's called EPA. We have seen unilaterally what it has done, this EPA signing to Kenya, in which, Kenya started to block trades that's coming from the Eastern Africa, in which it's part of and legally bounded to let those regional markets to enter its border or its territory. But because this EPA deals forces them to dump all those cheap products from Europe into the African market, then the Kenyan government or any African government has to be obliged and, let the other block at the expense of your own people. Then you fled your own people with some cheap products. So now let's go to what happened now in Nigeria for today. Our topic is that. So I'm going to read it and reflect it to you: by whom it's conducted, what are the results, how it is impacting the Nigerian farmers or the local farmers there. So those are the things that we are going to talk about now. A collaborative investigation by noteworthy and Nigerian news outlet Premium Times into Irish dairy in Nigeria has found that large volumes of cheap European exporters into West Africa have outcompeted local milk on price. Now, according to the European Union, let me just quickly tell you this: the European Union, they have actually tested, because this research has forced them, this cheap milk substitute. It's called FFMP. That is a fat-filled milk powder exported by Ireland to West Africa. And the European Union said this does not have even a standard of to get a name to be labeled as milk. This is way more lower than what a milk substitute has to constitute in it. So if it was in Europe, it's totally, out of market, and it will not even pass that standard testing in Europe. So, but they are dumping this. But of course, on the other hand, EU is letting, because they are subsidizing the Irish farmers. So, in other words, you don't sell it in your own continent, but you are, by you, I mean European Union, authenticizing it to to be exported in Africa, because Africa has what, less than humans that they're living in that continent. That's what's happening. So let's continue and reflect on this news outlet, or it's a research finding. I cannot just call it news because it's more than that. Now, according to NGOs and traders, has pushed many Nigerian dairy farmers out of business. Now, Daniel Ambibola, who is a commercial dairy farmer from Ondo State, which is in Nigeria, and says in the southwest of Nigeria, said that this competition is the reason some dairy farms are forced to shut down less than 5 years after they are established. Imagine, even for, in Africa, to be a manufacturer or a producer of something, it's a long way. It takes loan and this and that. They are not really supported by their governments, like what's happening in Europe or US or wherever in the West. It's hard. Even for that matter, it could be in China or in some kind of developed non-Western countries. In Africa, it's something different. And in 5 years, that's it. You collapse because there is a foreign a foreign product that's in your country, which is even less than, the quality is less than what is produced locally. Now, our investigation, it says this is a person from who conducted the research. Our investigation examined the export of fat-filled milk powder, or known as FFMP. Though butter and cheese exports are more valuable, FFMP is Ireland's largest dairy export in terms of volume. Now, according to European Commission regulations, were it to be sold within EU, it could not be labeled as a milk product. That's what the EU says. Now, the European Commission told Noteworthy that this product cannot bear the term milk in their denomination, as according to EU regulations, milk products have to derive exclusively from milk. These are from fat-filled milk product. That's why it's called FFMP. People, locally in Africa, most people, they really don't investigate what is constituting or what is in that product, even if it is, if they find it or if we find it cheaper than what is available in the local market, then you buy it, because people hardly eat, right? So that's what's happening now. Consumers in Nigeria seem unaware of that fact. According to market research, the market research Noteworthy has seen that was commissioned by and board Beyecha. Now, the Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine, the DAFM, told Noteworthy that Ireland is committed to global rules-based international trade and is subject to EU agreements such as the Economic Partnership Agreement with West Africa. So now EU has made signs, the whole ECOWAS, the same ECOWAS that's giving a trouble to these revolutionary leaders, the Sahel states, has signed this EPA. Then that's why now not only Nigeria, actually, if the research was to be conducted also in other ECOWAS members, I think the same findings will come out. Now, the spokesperson said that Irish initiatives support small farmers and food producers in Africa. Well, yeah, you take a lot, you dump your product, and then what are you supporting? They added that the state agencies, including Gas Board, Beyecha, Enterprise Ireland, and the Food Safety Authority of Ireland, offer access to Ireland's capabilities and expertise in agri-food to our international partners on government-to-government basis. Look at the products, they're crowding the local market, okay? Now, EU directs, creates an equal system. Now, visibly or invisibly, the European Union is an accomplice to this. If you asking me how, this is how it is. Now, while the cost of production for dairy is high in Europe, the Common Agricultural Policy supports farmers in the European Union by providing direct aid to supplement their income and ensure a sufficient earning. Now, this subsidy is subsidizing the farmers, and direct aid enables them, these farmers, whether it is Irish or any other EU member country, what they are doing is it enables large companies to export dairy products for cheaper than the cost of production without incurring a loss, and without what? Without, fulfilling any standard by the European Union for it to be called a milk, and it allows you still to export it, or rather dump it in African countries. That's what it does, unfortunately. So whether consciously or unconsciously, EU is an accomplice in this whole process. Now, milk exports coming from the EU are really cheap because of the kind of dumping organized in the European Union, especially by the CAP. Now, Adrian Truvadis, he is a researcher from Group for Research and Technology Exchange, an NGO working in West Africa region. So they are one of the researchers together with the Premium Times news outlet in Nigeria. Now that's why the price on global market is lower than what is needed for European farmers. And they call this now in their findings, this is an equal system. This is really an equal system is an understatement. Actually, it's a crime that's been committed. Those milk powders are given to babies, to children. And you are giving something that's really below the standard. So it's not just an equal system, but it's a crime. Over the past 25 years, the CAP's trade and market distorting features have been removed, ensuring that its impact on the growth of agriculture sectors in developing countries is marginal and wherever possible, even beneficial. Now, unlike what is applicable in EU countries, dairy farming is not subsidized, and it is cheaper to import milk than it is to buy from local farmers. Now, for instance, this is because if the government do not protect its own market, the local producers, and this is what happens because those who export are subsidized and are getting a direct aid from the government or from the European Union. So now locally, 0.09 euro is what it costs for a liter of milk, okay? And 0.21 euro is to buy the same quantity from local producers. So 0.09 is the imported one, and 0.21 is from local producers, and that is already a big difference for the consumers. So they buy it from the imported ones. So I think there's a lot of findings in the article that I really encourage you to go and read it, so that you, wherever you are as an African, can investigate if there is any imported so-called substitute milk in the shelves of groceries where you are in Africa. Then try to compare the market and what made that product to end up in that shelf selling for a cheap price. And is it above all the quality? Did it pass the standardization in the local countries, in the local government? What is it its quality by the standard of Europe or from where it is exported, so that you will be able uh, uh, you will be able to know what kind of milk is being sold in your country. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Please let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this, and what is, what does this so-called substitute milk substitute product in your country? Is it the same, this fat filled milk product, or called FFMP, or others from where? Yeah, let us know in the comment section. Thanks again for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give it a like if you find it informative enough, and share the video with others. You may support us to our PayPal account, which you can find in the description section. That was it for now. Thanks again, and it's a bye bye from me for now. Ciao.